so interesting that the next read that I'm doing right now is the Cancer reading because I was really thinking a lot about the water today, and I was wondering why, because it's a fire moon with Leo and a fire sun with Leo and an earth moon with Capricorn. I was maybe thinking of water because the earth Capricorn needs the water. It's just like a lot of water imagery today. So Cancer sign births the water seasons. Where the moon is domiciled, associated with the breasts and the stomach. So in your current energy right now, Cancer, you have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So this can be about having trouble finding work-life balance, needing to give some of that abundant energy in towards the self, or working towards being in like a space of attaining financial independence, or working towards your financial independence. Challenge right now is the Hermit card in reverse. So maybe feeling a little bit isolated along your spiritual journey, either taking that time, and it might be helpful to back out of it a little bit so you don't feel as isolated, but you can still be going on that spiritual journey, or just like you're on a spiritual journey and you are feeling isolated in that, and that will of course be a challenging energy. In the recent past, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, so some sort of possibly some sort of like bad luck, karma that caused some sort of negative feeling around your current life path, but really just like a sense of bad luck for something having not gone exactly the way that you had planned or wanted it to necessarily. And then the Six of Swords in the reverse is about it can be read both ways, but I guess having trouble letting go of some baggage, but working towards that journey, but just maybe having trouble wrapping up the full cycle of that. Working to release the swords, but maybe having a little bit of trouble releasing the baggage to make the journey, across the river a little easier. This is beautiful because it also looks like possibly a mother and child in Virgo season. The Virgin, like the Mother Mary, is coming up here soon. In your conscious energy is the Ten of Wands, so fire energy there with Leo season. This is about a sense of completion and like feeling this heavy weight of this, bundle of 10 sticks as you get to the top of the hill, as you get to the village. So really feeling like you're working hard, but you are working on completing some sort of major work that you've been putting a lot of your passion into. And in the below energy is you. The Cancer card is the Chariot. So in your subconscious energy, kind of like moving forward with passion. So a lot of passion here with the fire, and with the fire season and your card. But really like moving forward, taking initiative. This is that cardinal energy of like driving forward, and like a rush of water is passionate and getting to where it needs to go. So you're putting in work and moving forward with like a really inspired energy, which is beautiful for Leo season, the heart and the spine. I want to read this more as letting go of the baggage. This is one I'll need to like read into later, but you had some sort of bad luck. You're working to like attain financial independence, having some trouble like balancing work life and home life, but you're letting go of baggage, but also maybe it's hard. Maybe it's why I want to read it both ways. I'm not sure. The advice card right now is the Page of Swords in the reverse. So this can be sort of about like gossipiness or like having a clouded thinking. Like sort of like communicating maybe a little bit immaturely, like maybe just like saying what you need to say without really thinking about it. I kind of think if this is like a kid with a sword, so like as the Page of Swords, and that's always about like communicating, air energy, and there is a lot of air energy here with the swords actually, with the Aquarius full moon coming in tomorrow. or not tomorrow or the next day. 'Cause now is the Capricorn moon. The next phase is Aquarius. I just don't know when the full moon hits full. I think it's on Sunday, and so in a couple of days. So this can be like advice of like just communicating how you need to, I guess. Like, and maybe that can come off a little brusque or brass. Cancer sign is really associated with like this big hug sense of love, but like they can also be like, they're the crab, so like shuffling sideways, and like a hug can turn into a pinch kind of energy. So it's like maybe like standing in this, maybe a little bit of an immature energy about how you communicate is like not a bad idea in this moment. I'm gonna just look this one up real quick. So I'm still learning. So as I say in some of my videos, if there is a card that like I just wanna, it's not just to learn in the moment, so it's incorporated as well as I can into the read. So self-expression, all talk, no action, haphazard action, and haste. So just like, hastiness about like, and like not communicating in a mature way. So being like hasty with how you talk about things, which means you probably haven't like thought it through. But it's also about like expressing yourself. So self-expression, definitely something that can be helpful for Cancers who are just like kind of like hide a lot of the stuff. The water in general like hides to, protect itself. The crustacean, Cancer, the crab. So this is like energy to work on expressing yourself. Even if it's like a little brusque or like brass in a moment. Just surrounding you is the Knight of Swords in the reverse. So this is sort of like a similar energy, but a little bit more mature. So the energy surrounding you is that there is like this, there is like a hastiness to how you're communicating. So, but it's also kind of like your advice. But the advice is to even like almost like regress more from this, and Cancer is the childhood sign. So, so the energy surrounding you is just like this hastiness and how like you're communicating or how you're thinking without necessarily, formulating every idea fully before you just do it. And that is giving me the energy of this, Chariot card, just like moving forward with doing what you're doing. So it's the energy surrounding you, and it's sort of your advice is to just let that process, I guess, a little bit play out in the moment. Something that you are, I would call this maybe a fear in this case, the Four of Cups in the reverse, sort of like a fear that you are withdrawing a little bit, and that's the challenge of the Hermit card in the reverse. This is Virgo season coming up in a couple of days here. But like, as if you're like withdrawing, you're being handed this cup, water energy, of new relationship, of creative opportunity, of nurturance, and you're really like withdrawing from that experience and like totally apathetic about it. Not just like maybe I'll take it later, but like a fear that like you're not going to take the gifts that you are and have been offered. And the outcome of this energy is the Five of Swords, so more sword energy here. So it seems like just a lot of so the outcome of this is, this can sort of be about conflict, having conflict with other people, maybe being in a position where you're working to be like right about the things that you're talking about. And it's unusual because usually this is not, it's a lot of air energy for a water reading. But the air is also like Mercury, and so Virgo season is coming, and also a highly, perfectionistic sign. And so the outcome of like the current energy of nothing worth a change is sort of like a feeling that you are having conflict with people, you're working to communicate your ideas and what you need to do, and like that's all well and good, but then maybe it's making people like leave because of the way that you are communicating. So I think that the biggest thing here is that you're really putting in a lot of work to finish up a cycle, and you're moving forward with that beautiful energy. So like your above and below energies really do match each other, reaching the end of that passionate journey. It's hard work, and the Chariot card, which is like moving forward with a passionate energy. So you're the above and the below match. But in the current time, you're really working to give abundance and resources to the self, feeling a little like isolated on that journey. And you've come out of a little bit of bad luck, and now you're having trouble releasing a little bit of baggage. And your advice is to just allow yourself to express yourself and say what you need to say. And it's also the energy that's just surrounding you in the moment. So it's like that's probably feeding off itself, and you're afraid that you're not going to be able to take advantage of the gifts you've been given. And there, it does look like there is some conflict kind of that's going to come up in this with the energy that you have going on. I would say, like, be easy on yourself and be easy with the people around you, maybe. Careful not to be too cutting, perfectionistic of yourself, perfectionistic of others. That blending of, Leo energy of the sun and the ego, and then Virgo season, which is the beautiful, mutable earth, but that can also have like a sense of perfectionistic quality to it, and that can get you hurt and other people as well. So I would say just be careful the way you're communicating your ideas and stuff, maybe with other people at this time, and then that's just like a harm reduction technique. So scales, keep your life in balance. So maybe something is feeling like out of balance right now. Maybe that's this, conflict between your work life and your home life, or two different aspects of your life. And that's something that you can be thinking about. Is if one is feeling like it's a little too much, and like something's out of balance, and something to keep an intention around is to work on balancing it out. Forest, muddled, unclear thinking. That's kind of the impression I was getting from the sword energy in reverse. Like, you're not totally clear about something, but like you're trying to express yourself, and like maybe just ideas need a little reworking before you make any final decisions about much of anything right now, even though you might be feeling like really like in your passionate energy. Just be careful about passion ideas. Like, you have to make sure that you're putting passion towards the right ideas for that to be like a helpful energy in a moment. Romance is in the air, so Leo season, the heart. Cancer really is love, so I think that energy is really surrounding you at all times. Mule, someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. Is this you? Is it somebody else? It looks like you are butting up against something here, so I don't know if it's you or someone else, but like there's a stubborn energy around you that is maybe making it hard to like release. Maybe this is about releasing baggage. Releasing some sort of sense of baggage, whatever that could be, whatever part of your life, and disappointment in some affair. So like all the swords in reverse, this ending, with the Five of Swords, it does look like there's a little bit of a challenging energy here, but Chiron went into retrograde about a month ago. We're staying there for the next few months, so it's just a more serious healing time than other times. There's a few other planets in retrograde, which I should really know, but it's just like a big period of like collective healing for people, like individually and with others. So if there is disappointment about something, then this is just like an important part of the journey, and it's something, every small lesson is an important lesson learned, and we don't know our lessons until like after we've done the stuff. We don't know really things are lessons in the moment. Right now, this is opposition to Cancer, the Capricorn moon. Usually they come out, but sometimes for Cancer water reading, they're a little bit more hidden. So here's the colors. I always like how they look together. Ideation, anger, and growth. So yeah, the ideation is like all of the swords here for sure. Right now is the Capricorn moon for growth and like anger. Yeah, Cancers can be, the moodiest sign, just like changing the quickest in terms of emotion, and it can be like sort of intense. And so maybe this like swords in the reverse is also being careful of how you express your anger. But let's see ideation. So a lot of, how you're expressing your ideas is here. So this card is about the growth with the Aquarius moon, the air moon that, also matches. This card is about the growth of ideas and new projects in your life. Now is the time to focus on creating a safe space for your creative endeavors. This moment is just for you and your project. Let your ideas grow while you nurture and care for them. Enjoy this special time. So ideas helping you to grow is definitely what I'm seeing here. But it doesn't mean it's always going to be like a gentle, comfortable experience. But like whatever your ideas are in this moment, whether you have to rethink them or whatever you're doing with them, is like it really is helping you grow, and you are on a healing journey with that, like assuredly, as this reading would support. Anger. This card represents an acknowledgement that anger is a natural part of life. It's okay to feel angry, but what can you do with the immense amount of energy that comes with it? How can you transform anger into something helpful for yourself and others? That gives me a great idea for for a process group to run. So if there's some feeling of anger, the Capricorn moon can more be like sad, but then like the Leo sun just has a lot of energy, and like fire can just really express things in a little bit of a brash way. So maybe you're just feeling like the sun and the moon today. Capricorn can be sort of like the grumpy old neighbor, and Leo's like the father or the dad, and the masculine side of the home. So maybe just feeling like a little bit of anger because of that collective energy. So how can you use that energy of your anger to like give you something beneficial instead of knocking down people around you and losing more than you had before? So using your anger for good and letting your ideas help you to grow, because like ideas aren't necessarily the number one thing for Cancer. It's more about like feelings, creativity, but so like maybe this is an exploration of how you are formulating your ideas and how you're expressing your ideas to other people, and like learning through that process, but making sure that you see all of it as a lesson and see how you're feeling in response to your everyday actions and how you're communicating especially. Bring love into the situation. So romance is in the air. Bringing love in is going to be what helps you here. Because I was like, okay, I don't see anything necessarily to help you with where to go. And this is the new moon in Aquarius, full moon in Aquarius is coming up this weekend. So the water bearer. So air energy bringing in the water. That actually matches really beautifully. Because Cancer is the water, Aquarius is the water bearer, even though it's this air sign. So maybe you're struggling a little bit with this, a little bit of Capricorn, Aquarius energy as we get into the full moon, especially during a fire season like Leo. And so just bring the love of you into what you're dealing with here. Like you don't have to really do much other than like bring in your heart, which is usually a very easy thing for Cancer. If anything, it's towards the ideas that they need to start thinking about. So like this is something you're having trouble with, you're working on it, and you're really you're putting in a beautiful work to the situation that you're going through. You're not just standing there and doing nothing, even if that's like your fear is that you're just totally apathetic. It's just maybe like a little struggle energy with the communication. But like if you just bring in the love of your heart, Leo season, Cancer, the mother and father. This one came out, so I'm going to read it. Usually, I've never had one just like pop out while I was picking up the deck. So, number 3, the dissolving light. I died as mineral and became a plant. I died as plant and rose to animal. I died as animal and I became human. Why should I fear anything? When was I ever less by dying? So, maybe you're going through a new major phase about like how you communicate your truth. And so maybe as you learn lessons along that path, you will see that like there is a part of you that passes on to a new understanding of yourself when you go through this process. Maybe you're trying to learn, what am I supposed to do with this anger when I feel this anger? Because it's real, but like what do I do with it now? Bring love into the situation. But like you're trying to think about new stuff, because maybe like you've mostly been in the heart before, and like that's not always, our feelings aren't just the truth. And so this is like a significant growth period for you. And so I died as mineral and became a plant, like the growth. The growth. I died as plant and rose to animal, and rose to animal. Romance is in the air, the rose. When was I ever less by dying? Dare to take my hand and become set alight with holy fire, my cherished one. Step forward with me, let us burn together, dissembled in the light that cannot be extinguished. This is the light that burns with such incandescent truth that no falsehood can withstand its audacious vibrancy. Come with me now to the light, together we shall melt into truth. All this sword energy is like air, truth, communication. So like maybe you're searching for like what your like truth is with your ideas, and not just by how you feel all the time, because like our feelings are not just facts. Not that our thoughts are facts either, but like it helps to balance out that heart space. which can maybe be what the Mercury of Virgo season is bringing into, the more feeling of the fire of Leo season, more of like back to a stabilizing energy. Trust in your changing perspective and perceptions. So the air energy can definitely be about, your thinking, so your perspective and your perceptions included. Don't hold on to what you once believed or thought to be true. Allow yourself to be shown another version of events, another way of perceiving. Don't focus on what is not working in your current estimation of things, for that is nothing more than a passing opinion. You are being given an opportunity to see and know yourself, others, and particular life circumstances very differently. Embrace it. Don't resist what is being shown to you, for even if there are some struggles in adjusting your view at first, ultimately this changing perception will free you and bring you more deeply into the wellspring of your own inner peace and happiness. So like changing perspectives and changing ideas or ways that you're communicating. Like maybe what you thought was true wasn't entirely true. And so that's going to bring up a lot of energy, including like anger, and then what are you going to do with it? Use these new ideas as like a period of growth and bring the love that naturally is you into the situation to help it kind of move into its next cycle. All right. Thanks for joining, Cancer.